Well, the state of travel, airlines, airports, and safety were the topics of a CBS News town hall in Washington, D.C. yesterday.
The head of the TSA, the pilots union, and some airline CEOs were among those speaking.
Earlier, we asked CBS News senior travel advisor Peter Greenberg, who was the moderator of the event, about the job openings now in the airline industry.
Well, they're ramping up as much as they can. We still have the Great Resignation and the Great Migration. The numbers are still not where they need to be, although some airlines are claiming they are actually at levels that they can handle. The CEO of JetBlue was there this morning and explained they have 16% more pilots flying 11% less capacity, so they're in pretty good shape. Other airlines, not so much. American Airlines, their pilots were there today talking about airlines publishing schedules that they could not physically support with the staff that they have. So what you're seeing is that going into the fourth quarter, airlines slashing their flight schedules, American alone canceling 31,000 flights for their November schedule alone. Other airlines may follow suit. So we're not out of the woods yet. And by the way, we're not just talking about pilots. We're talking about the people who work below the wings, the guys on the tarmac, the baggage loaders, the counter agents, and of course the federal agencies, the TSA and the air traffic controllers. Most of them were represented today talking about what their challenges are going into the fourth quarter and hopefully getting them solved before the rush of travel comes back in 2023.
One of the things you discussed today with the panel, the TSA announced something troubling when it comes to firearms. What did they say?
Well, two things that were troubling. One, the number of firearms seized at security checkpoints is way up, over 4,500. But the particularly troubling thing is of those seized, 86% of them were loaded. A notation that the TSA seemed to interpret as a lot of first-time travelers not realizing what the real rules are, not to mention the real penalties for doing that.
And the dangers as well. The head of the pilots and the flight attendants union also at the town hall. What are their top concerns?
Well, the pilots are lobbying hard for a second barrier between the cockpit and the cabin. They've got bipartisan support for it. Now it's got to get financed. Another way to deny entry to the cabin or to the cockpit during the flight. And then at the same time, the flight attendants and the pilots talking about crew rest, being asked to work maximum number of hours, which may in fact be legal, but may not in fact be that safe. Again, it's a numbers game. There are not that many reserves out there. And even though the airlines are hiring pilots, that doesn't mean they're flying yet. There's a learning curve there. You can't just go kick the tires and sit in the left seat and fly the plane. So we're not out of the woods yet, but they're working on it.
Can we ask you a little bit about the impending freight rail strike? Amtrak announced that it's suspending 3 of its long-range routes out of Chicago. What is the potential domino effect there for people on rail travel and air travel?
Well, Amtrak's had a record number of riders this year as well as last year, not just on their short-haul trains, but on their long-haul trains like the Empire Building or the Zephyr and the Sunset Limited and the Southern Crescent. And the first trains that are going to get canceled in this strike are going to be those long-haul trains, which means those people are going to end up trying to fly where the airfares may not be as cheap or may not be as available. So you're going to see a trickle-down and then a tumble-down effect if the strike continues.
It never gets easy, does it?
No.
No.
Peter, thanks for being with us again. Great to see you.
Thank you, Peter. Great to see you.
You got it, guys.